So I've got to ask you because you're a media ecologist. What, and I know you can't get too much into it, but let's talk about the advertising and media business. What do you see around the corner?
The advertising and media business today, about 90% plus of all investments in advertising are done through automated programmatic models. They're data based. Retail media and commerce media has introduced first party data as being an important source, but it's also commoditized the industry at large. I mentioned influencers earlier. We're seeing, and they were really making a difference in companies' businesses by tapping into true influencers. But today we're seeing influencers defined by their numbers, not by the loyalty that their audiences have. We see people like Joe Rogan having huge influence and others like him. In many ways, their influence that we're seeing is political as opposed to advancing marketing. What we're going to see is a reintegration of creativity and media, and where marketers are going to be looking for those media rather than offering the most efficient home for the distribution of their content, how they can collaborate and partner on the creation of content that's meaningful. And I don't mean branded content, I mean content that has purpose and that has uh, a common connection with the audiences so that, and it brings us back. I said vinyl. The television marketplace, the network television marketplace, was built on what was called at the time the upfront market, which was sponsorships. Every television show in the 1950s and early 60s, in order to get on the air, had to have a sponsor. Sponsors
Mhm.
looked for those shows that had an audience that would appeal to their product. Then it became too expensive. We went to the scattered market of buying 30-second, 60-second, 15-second, 10-second, and now 2-second commercials or messages. So it's a blink type model where you just want to be in the largest number of blinks that a
Mm,
person has, which
yeah.
is 5,000 a day. But I believe the future will lead toward building that 5 to 10%, which we see in sports today heavily, of
Mhm.
sponsorship models where you're really focusing on making a deeper investment as a marketer in content where you're reaching the audience in an environment that's most relevant and meaningful to you. I believe it's going to be a very slow integration. And in
Mhm.
10 years, I look toward a model where in a optimistic world, 30% of marketing investment or advertising investment is built on this, what I loosely call the sponsorship model, as opposed to the transactional commodity focus. And I do believe that the reality of the decline of legacy media is a sad reality, but that we will see its resurgence over the next decade.
So you think the legacy media will have a
I
resurgence?
do. I do.
In what way? Like on streaming or something?
Well, look at the automotive category, which Hearst has
Mhm.
a major investment in, and they've grown it, expanded it. They have auto auction business is under the Hearst umbrella. The path toward increasing their focus and model in a category where every auto loyalist is connected in some way to Hearst. So corporately, Hearst has made a big investment in a category, and it's an expanded out model. I do think that sports is a model that the industry, the television industry, and across all platforms, I don't think we can be platform specific. It's going to be multi platform. But I do think that brands are going to again have meaning, and that meaning has been lost as advertisers have just focused on reaching large audiences with scale and a procurement model with cheap pricing, and that's been devastating to the industry, and the industry brought it on itself.